the two rivalries with Miami and Clemson. Clemson's been really good as long as you've been at Florida State, obviously the 1 year. What are the differences between the way you guys view those two rivalries, and which one do you think is kind of the more important one right now?
We view them the same, and they both important. One's not better than the other. You know, when we play Miami, we know we got to come ready to play. It's going to be a tough physical game, and they're going to give us their best shot every game. So, and we already know what time it is with Clemson, defending champions. They back-to-back national championship trips, so we got to bring our A game, and we play them too. So we go into both games with the same mindset.
Significance with Clemson now this year because they are the defending national champions?
It's the same. If they would have won or lost, we're going to approach the game the same way.
I thought that Clemson game last year was one of your best, just because of the beating you took, but you kept getting back up. Can you kind of walk us through that and you know, some of your thoughts as that game progressed?
I mean, it was fun. It was just fun. You gotta have fun. You know, when y'all say take a beating, I don't look at it as taking a beating. I look at it as playing football. I gotta take the bitter with the sweet. So if I want to, you know, look pretty and throw touchdown passes, I gotta be able to take hits. So that's just the love that I have for the game.
Talking in that particular matchup?
What do you mean?
Between the two teams.
On the field? Yeah. Oh no, I don't really talk on the field. I just be cool and just do my thing.
You had that big opening week showdown with Alabama, and you have the common opponent with Clemson. How much can you take away from dissecting that game film, what Clemson was able to do to them offensively?
Yeah, I watched a lot of film, and there's a lot of things, you know, I could take away from Clemson, and, you know, what they did against Alabama's defense. Alabama's defense is very stout, very well coached with Coach Pruitt and Saban. So we just got to come ready to play and, you know, focus on all the little details because I know they're going to focus on the same things.
You said that getting hits part of playing football, but what were Sundays like for you this last fall? Were you pretty sore?
Oh, Sundays. I didn't like Sundays, man. I mean, Sundays, every day was during the week I had to go to, you know, treatment and stuff and, you know, take care of my body, you know. So, but Sundays, you know, you're going to wake up sore. That's just the way it is. Just got to get in the ice tub.
What was the best defensive line you faced last year?
The best defensive line? Boston College, number 7. He caused a lot of trouble. He's a great athlete. That's a hard question, man. Cause I got sacked a lot, so, you know, there's a lot of good defensive linemen. But NC State was pretty good. Louisville, Syracuse, Michigan, Miami D-line is always real stout. Everybody at ACC, yeah, basically.
What was the toughest Sunday for you?
Say it again?
The toughest Sunday.
The toughest after Miami game, when I was a little banged up, took a lot of hits that game. I woke up like I got hit by a bus. But after that, you know, I just got to continue to practice. You know, I feel like the way to get the soreness out is just to practice. So.
Obviously, you had one of the best running backs in the country lining up with you in Dalvin Cook last season. Now that you lost him, you got Cam Akers coming in. What have you seen from him, and do you have a feeling that you might be able to pick up right where you left off in the running game?
I've seen a lot of consistency from him. A guy who wants to work, a guy who wants to learn, and is mature for his age. We have a lot of running backs on the depth chart right now, and they're all good in their own game. Jaquez, Kalen, a lot of the guys are good. We still have Ryan Green, a lot of guys, Jaquandre, a lot of young guys, and they're all going to compete. And it doesn't come down to who's more talented. It comes down to who's going to study their playbook, who's going to, you know, be able to react to, you know, certain plays and certain moments. Who's going to process information the fastest? That's what it's going to come down to.
In terms of how much of a beating you took last season, is pass protection one of those things that's going to play a big factor in who gets more reps?
No doubt. Of course. That's one of the main things. Got to be able to pass block.
We saw Mike on talent last year, but Jimbo in the spring said he's challenging him to be more consistent. What have you seen from him in the summer and offseason?
A guy who just works, a guy who's hungry, a guy who tasted a little bit of success last year, and is humble enough to, you know, want more. So I feel like he's taking that leadership role in the receiving core, and, you know, a lot of the young guys look up to him, and he's paving the way for them.
How do you personally sum up your year last year?
Bumpy. It was a little bumpy, but I feel like it was a blessing because I learned a lot, man. Every game, I feel like I learned a lot. There was so much things that I thought I knew about the game that I really did not know.
Like what?
Just how I have to be patient. How critical one play, one mistake, one turnover can change a whole game. And that every play matters, so you don't want to take no plays off. You don't have time for loafs. You got to be mentally focused into every single play because you never know if that's the play that can change the game.
People with Cam coming in are kind of sleeping on Jaquez. Why is that a bit a mistake for defenses, and what is he going to do this season that's going to help you guys really propel as an offense?
I don't know why people are focused on Cam and Jaquez and all our running backs are great. Jaquez and Cam, I would like to hand the ball off to both of them, and I will hand the ball off to both of them. We have a lot of running backs. Coach Fisher, Coach Sanders, Coach Brewster, they did a great job recruiting these guys. So we'll just see who's back there first game.
Get out there and kind of just throw the ball wherever you see, or how excited are you to play with so many weapons?
I'm very excited. We've had a great summer. The guys look energetic. People are getting healthy. We're doing good right now. Everyone feels good. The vibe of the team is going well. So I'm excited for fall camp. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough fall camp. But I'm gonna push our offense to the limit and see how far we can go.
Pitcher, do you see yourself kind of holding onto the ball a little bit more?
Nah. I'm gonna just continue to do what Coach Fisher asked me to do. So if he want me to hold it more, then I'll hold it more. If he want me to throw it more, I'll throw it more. Whatever to help the team win.
You spoke earlier about trying to take less hits. How do you go about working on that? Is it watching film, studying what you did last year, talking to Randy and Jimbo? How do you work on it?
Film, a lot of film, working on pocket movement, just little sudden movements that can help me get away from a D lineman and continue to keep my eyes downfield. Just little things like that.
What was your biggest takeaway in going back and looking at last year and the hits you did take? I mean, did you find yourself at fault some here and there?
It was everything in one. Some games it's missed blocks, some games it's missed assignments, some games it's me holding it too long, some games it's receivers running the routes at the wrong depth, which causes me to hold it long. It's the offense as a whole. It's not just the O-line.
Did you understand that in the moment last year?
Yeah, I understood that. Yeah.
Miami's got a new quarterback coming in. They don't know who's going to start, but N'Kosi Perry, you guys are kind of from the same area, different ages. Do you know him at all? I'm just curious.
Nah, I never heard. I don't know.
Any thoughts on how you think Miami might be this year?
I expect them to be really good. They're well coached. I know they're going to come to play every game, especially when they play Florida State. So we have them early in the season. So we can't sleep. We got to focus on Bama, focus on the next game, and we have Miami coming in early, so we have to be ready.
Not you, but the team had a couple hiccups earlier in the year and seemed to finish on a really, really strong basis. What turned? What kind of helped your identity? What really fueled your finish in you?
We just grew up as a team. We learned how to persevere through adversity, and we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We kept going. We as a team we started slow, but we continued to trust in Coach Fisher, and down the stretch we began to win games and got on the streak.
Was it the IOUs coach wanted you to sign? Was it maybe Louisville and Clemson kind of being already a top of the division kind of factored into the point where you were like, all right, we can just play, we don't have to worry about it?
I think it's different for different players. For me, it was the field goal North Carolina game. I was like, we gotta, continue. We gotta continue. We gotta practice better. That's the only thing that we have to do. That's the only thing we can't control is our preparation. So we gotta start preparing better if we want to win games.
Showtime series last year, they followed you guys around all year. Did you, after the season or even during the season, watch it and learn anything about yourself or your team?
Yeah, I watched it after the season, man. It was beautiful to just see what we became. How we grew up as a team, and you know, winning the Orange Bowl will help us go into this summer and into this fall camp with a lot of confidence.
Some of those moments, like in the locker room after the Louisville loss, and then after that field goal that you mentioned, looking back on those, did the wound feel just as fresh as when it happened in real time?
Nah, real time it hurt bad. Yeah, but now looking back on it, man, it's just a lesson. Now we understand that we can't start games slow. I think North Carolina had us 21-0. We can't put ourselves in that position and expect to win games against good teams.
You look around your locker room and go, yeah, this looks to me like an ACC championship type team and contender for the national championship type of team. Do you have that sense when you look around your locker room?
Yes.
Because why? I guess what gives you that confidence?
Our preparation, guys working hard, guys wanting to get better. Guys having love for each other around the locker room, doing what they're supposed to do not only on the field but also off the field. And me and Derwin, being the leaders of the team, we're just trying to install a culture of doing the right things, being where you're supposed to be on time, and we feel like that will reflect onto the practice field and eventually onto the game field.
You feel pressure with that? Kind of like everyone thinking, okay, it's going to be Florida State's year in the ACC and to challenge for the national title. Does that come with any pressure at all?
It's pressure every year. It's with Florida State. Every team is going to give us their best shot. We just got to come